I've never seen it.
Oh, I can hear you guys now.
Hey.
You haven't been able to
I've just been nodding after your lips stop moving.
Yeah.
laughing when I see a comedian go.
You nailed it.
What are you recording? You remember just hit the fat record button on both of them?
Hit that fat record button, son.
You can start. All right, let me. What is the name of your new show at the Lyric? No Bad Guys?
Oh, it was No More Mr.
Did it
Big
just
Guy.
happen?
It was just a one-off.
Oh, it was?
Yeah. But if you wanted to talk about it in the past.
Did it happen?
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ, I just saw the TikTok today.
Oh, God, thank you, algorithm.
That's how you know he invented the internet. Otherwise, it'd be called George Bush-ism.
That's...
How long have you been sitting on that?
Honestly, since 1992, which is crazy. It's been tough to wedge it into a conversation. No one's used the word algorithm yet.
Yeah,
It's never come up in doing comedy these days. I just loved the poster so much. With the duck with the circle with the line through it.
It's so funny because I'm trying to find the meanest, No More Mr. Mean Guy. Trying to find like a cartoonishly mean person. I had that old villain with the curly mustache, but none of them looked right. And then I just saw this adorable duck.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's funny.
Like
That's
a duck
mean.
that would come with Microsoft Word or something.
Well, I'm going to look it up later. I'm sorry I missed it.
Yeah, it wasn't. I think it's one of those things where people are like, they see the poster and they're like, "What is it?"
Yeah.
Because the nice duck threw them off.
Yeah.
And you're like, no more Mr. Duck guy?
Maybe a mustache on the duck next time. Just as
That's
a thought.
it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Or an eye patch or something, yeah.
Yes.
Even an iPad even.
World War II shrapnel scar down the face.
Pretty sure
Seen
he
some things.
Joaquin Phoenix's hair lip and put it on the duck.
The duck on the stairs as the Joker.
It's the new Joker movie is Foie Gras. Joker 2. Foie Gras. Kevin, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Thanks for being here.
Excited to be here.
I'll record an intro separately.
Sure.
So it's all proper.
Excited to see everybody. Haven't been on the West Coast in a minute. So, yeah, this is huge.
How do you feel about it? We're in it, and I miss having that.
Are there any differences
got
between
here.
towns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You break down LA and New York, please.
Kevin Casey, why are you to let us
Appreciate
know
that subsidies
To be honest,
aren't
okay.
the same.
Yeah, right. Nobody's ever talked about the difference between New York and LA before. I am here to shatter the Midwest's perception of what you think is going on the coast.
That place in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's fun to have like sunshine and palm trees and stuff. And I was in San Diego and we decided to drive up the 101 to come up because I thought it was going to be scenic. Turns out it's just don't do that. Just take the highway. Wasn't that cool at all. But both cities, they smell kind of bad. They're both a little dirty. There's problems, but also it's where everything gets made, and it's where so they're both kind of magical in a way. I saw a homeless guy in rollerblades today.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of like a thing.
For people not listening, that's a neighborhood on the west side. That usually has a low homeless population, so it was shocking that he saw someone.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? We don't get rollerblades on the East Coast. It's a
Sure.
different vibe.
Yeah.
But otherwise pretty similar. Just different font.
You gotta take the 101 from here up to the bay. That's when it's really bad.
That's
And from
right.
the bay up, that's because it's redwoods and cliffs. And
Dude,
Yeah. It's bad on the way down
It's
from
a
here.
whole... I was riding up with my girlfriend, and she was like, let's do the 101. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's wrong, but we'll just do it anyway. And then I just bit my tongue for 5 hours.
It's definitely... If you use the map my parents have, which is a placemat from a diner, it's the route that they'll want you to take. Because it's got and what's the one that goes like the... across where they're like scenic 50, scenic highway 50 and the 101, and you're like, I think this is when there used to be 13 cars.
Yeah.
Well, you could just get on your horse, and it would take just an hour.
Take the scenic Lewis and Clark route. It's like it was notoriously bad for them.
Right.
Yeah. It used to be orange groves, and now it's just sewage. Great.
I always love those placemats had 5 things to see.
Yeah,
You know, there'd be
750 miles apart.
Yeah, it's like
The Grand Canyon or a ball of twine.
Yeah.
The route that shows it all.
We got some downtime.
I drove from here to Kansas City a couple Christmases ago and was going the south route and stopped in Winslow, Arizona.
Yeah.
And there's just literally a billboard that's like, yeah, from the Eagles thing. Yeah. Don't bring it up.
Oh, really?
Why the fuck else would I have stopped here?
That's the whole thing, man.
I didn't stop here to see like the dad from Family Matters, maybe, or something. Just a billboard that's like, yeah, we know.
Know what you are.
I would like it if Carl Winslow made an aggressive
Carl
play
Winslow,
at the city,
Arizona.
though.
Yeah.
He's just running for sheriff of Arizona.
Exactly.
Okay, let's get in. I'm getting warm, and I want to match you even better.
Yeah. Everybody
great.
take something off.
We got like this is the black side of the table.
You're playing strip pod?
Yeah.
My boxers just come off like that.
Like a red card?
Huge shit streak. Just massive.
You gotta start buying brown boxers.
So you've never seen The Deer Hunter?
I've never seen The Deer Hunter.
I
no.
don't know if we've ever done this movie on here.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I've seen it either.
I looked around at your archives. I didn't see anybody that's done it.
Yeah. Maybe we paywalled only the Deer Hunter
Maybe.
episodes. Or just deleted them on accident.
Have you all seen The Deer Hunter?
I've seen it. It's been a minute. A Deer Hunter. I remember. I saw it in the past 10 years. It was like 3 a.m. and I thought it was like in the middle of it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would fall asleep. I found out years later. I watched the very beginning, and it's 3 hours long.
Wow.
It's a long.
Wow.
The sun was coming up, and I'm still watching the Deer Hunter.
Yeah.
And it's it's not a nice nighttime.
I was gonna say it's a good lighthearted romp.
Yeah.
Have some nice dreams. Yeah.
I can't even see it being a good light transition movie. You want to start and finish this when it's the same light outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it feels like when you ever take a nap at like 3:30 p.m. and then it's 5:30 and it's dark and you're like, I think I slept for a year.
Yeah.
I'm just upset. I feel bad.
Anytime I see a heavy drama like matinee, you go in, it's daytime, you leave, and it's like dusk.
Yeah.
And you just feel different.
Yeah.
And like, you just watch like The Whale or whatever, and I'm just gonna go home. I was gonna meet some friends, but I'm too sad now.
Yeah.
Ruined my whole life.
The wrong time and dark to see anything.
I
Yeah.
gotta go journal. Ugh.
Let's do the script. I'm trying this new thing where I do the premise of the podcast in the first hour of it.
Okay.
Great.
Which is a thing
In the
working
first
because very often it's like 56 minutes in. I'm like, all right, so let's get to the script. And then we get out of here. But I'd like to do this. I cannot remember if I've seen The Deer Hunter. I actually can't remember. We all right with that guy?
Yeah, I'm just touching stuff
okay.
I shouldn't be touching.
No, it's
We're
all right.
good.
It's a new fidget spinner.
Okay, so I feel like
What would you like to? What do you know?
here's what I want you all to know. The only scene I know is the iconic Russian roulette scene.
Oh, that's
And-
from Deer Hunter.
Yeah.
This is how little I know about this movie.
And I realized, because I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to rewatch that scene and that scene only to familiarize myself. And I was watching it and I was like, I don't even know if I've seen this. I think I've only seen parodies of this in like Hot Shots Part D and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So I got to make sure I watched the OG one. It's heavy. It could tell right away. It's a very intense movie. So I tried to honor that a little bit. Also, has anybody here seen Challengers?
No, which is what I thought I was here to do.
Yeah, because I asked you that. Okay, so nobody here is gonna. Okay, well, we'll see how this plays.
Also, just such a. I thought you were gonna be like, because I've seen Challengers and it's the Russian roulette scene in Challengers. It's like where she's just watching a tennis ball, but it's the bullet going back and forth.
I just want you all to know that I had just watched Challengers right before.
That's such a funny energy
Writing
to bring
this.
into The Deer
Hell
Hunter.
yeah.
Do you know who's it? Okay.
Deer Hunter, but
I was about
make
to say
it
if you know
horny.
who's in
Let's
it, and then
go.
I read the first two characters, and
Yeah.
I'm like, actually, never mind.
So in the Deer Hunter, it's Christopher Walken and Robert De Niro as the protagonists, and you know what? That's all I'll say for now, and hopefully we get the rest.
Do you want to do any casting now, or do you want to
Yeah.
cast it as people pop up? Because
Okay, so-
if it's like reveals and stuff, sometimes it's more fun to just point at someone as the character is coming up. Or if you want to cast anyone now, you can also do that.
Okay, well, how about? Do you want me to do stage directions?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do stage direction stuff. You can do this first
Great.
line right here, and I'll handle this. It's just like for like one line, but I'll do that.
Okay.
Brandie, you know who you are.
Yes.
Nick, you know who you are.
Yes.
And I will be. I am not good at doing a Christopher Walken, so I don't know if you can, but I can try it.
I can do a really good Christopher Walken doing me.
Oh, okay. Can I hear that?
I'm Kyle.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good me. It's a good me.
Chris killed that. All right, I'll do Christopher Walken.
I can do Christopher Walken talking to someone about Natalie Wood, which is just him sitting silently.
Hey!
Here, let's do this then. I'll do Christopher Walken, and you can do this and this.
Great.
Okay. And there's also a referee with like a line or two that you can also do, Kyle.
Okay, awesome.
And then that should be everything.
Amazing.
Does that work? Yeah. All right. And that's it? We just get right into it?
Let's do it. If anyone wants to score anything. Oh, maybe this sounds like a deer hunter type of noise.
All right. This is my interpretation of the Deer Hunter. Interior, sports arena, night. The arena is electric with Vietnamese soldiers cheering from the stands. All eyes are fixed on a simple stage where old frenemies, Nick Vatterott, Christopher Walken, and Mike Vronsky, Robert De Niro, sit across from each other at a small table. Nick is well-groomed while Mike looks a little worse for wear. It's very clear life has taken them on very different paths. A sexy ring girl struts around the stage presenting a small wooden box. A hush fills the room. She sets the box on the table, opens it, and presents a revolver. She hoists it above her head. The crowd erupts. We hear the familiar voice of Bob Costas.
It's a beautiful night here in Vietnam for the annual World Series of Russian Roulette, brought to you by Blue Chew. Blue Chew, get your dick hard! I'm your host, Bob Costas. I'm joined by resident expert on shooting yourself in the head, the ghost of disgraced politician R. Bud Dwyer. Great to be here, Bob! Are you excited for tonight's matchup? You bet your ass I am! Tonight we've got the matchup of the century. Underdog Mike Vronsky is going toe-to-toe with his old friend, reigning champion and the crowd favorite Nick, the Deer Hunter, Chevotorevich.
The words Deer Hunter slam onto the screen with a loud crash. The Deer Hunter. Like a transformer, the words morph into a robot. The robot pops a Blue Chew and gets an erection. Sponsored by Blue Chew. Dick pills you can chew. The ring girl hands the gun to a referee who inspects it, loads a single bullet, and whirls the cylinder before knocking it into place. He sets the gun on the table between our competitors and spins it. Cut 2. Exterior POW camp day, 13 years earlier. A younger Michael and Nick round a corner with a pep in their step. They bounce along with matching trophies, completely unfazed by the blood splattered across their bodies. Oh, it's another win in the books.
I think that was great.
Thank you so much.
That was De Niro?
It's crazy. No, it's Walken. It's wild. It's another win in the books.
When you see him in movies when he's younger, it is jarring because we haven't seen him young ever in our lives. And you're like, oh, he was like this then?
Yeah.
No, always haunted.
Haunted?
Forever. Something happened to him as a baby.
That was a way better Walken than I thought.
It's a big week for the boys.
Love that. That was good.
I mean, we could both do Walken.
Thank you for just doing your normal voice.
If we want to both do.
All right, let's take that again. Let's take it again.
Dueling Walkens.
See, here's my De Niro is I say, you talking to me?
There you go.
Right before I say every
line.
And then the other line is just your regular voice.
Yeah.
You talking to me?
Let's try.
It's a big week for the boy. Robert De Niro. Even.
The mom from Bob's Burgers.
Okay. So let's do that. Okay. So, another week in the books.
It's a big week. It's a big week for the boys.
What are we gonna do about our match tomorrow?
Shut the fuck up.
Hey, listen. I'm at peace with the fact that you're gonna win. You're the best.
We're the best.
I'm just saying.
Nicky, relax, all right? All right, I'll set up something, some distraction or something, and then take my shot at one of the guards. And when we're out of here, all right? Don't sweat it.
They make their way to the front of a sizable crowd gathered around a table, adorned with a revolver in the middle of a courtyard.
All right. Hey, you gonna go to that party later?
What? No, I'm not going.
Again, a reminder, I'm constantly trying to keep Al Pacino and De Niro separate in my head.
Dude, you can...
Well, who are you, my parents?
Why don't you call De Niro and ask him to give you a job?
Have you tried having him get you on SNL?
Also, I love that the other character's Nick, and it makes me want to say that.
I know.
Okay, here we go. All right. Hey, you going to that party later?
No, I'm not going.
Why? Why not?
Because we've got our big match tomorrow.
I just told you, I'll handle it, all right? Hey, don't you want to meet Dashi? Don't you want to meet Dashi?
Nick shrugs.
Hey, you don't get it, man. You never seen her in person. She's in a whole nother league.
Another league? What do you mean? Like her game?
No! I mean, it's the hottest woman you ever seen.
Tashi Duncan, Zendaya, enters... I told you I just watched Challengers.
No, she was in this.
She enters the courtyard with her opponent. Nick and Mike are transfixed. Tashi's up first. She picks up the gun and places it to her temple. She holds eye contact as she squeezes the trigger. Click. Tashi's opponent picks up the gun and puts it to her head. She nervously blinks. Bang! Blood splatters Tashi as she lets out a primal roar.
Come on!
This is the hottest thing Mike and Nick have ever seen.
I love someone who's good at Russian roulette. Dude, she's so fucking good at this.
Later, night. Nellie's hot in her bumps throughout the party as Mike and Nick scan the crowd with a singular goal. Talk to Tashi. The dance floor opens, showing Tashi in her own world, feeling the music. Mike and Nick drool over her from afar. When Tashi goes to order a drink, Mike and Nick go in for the kill.
Hey, Dashi Duncan, all right? I'm Mike. Hey, this is Nick.
Hello.
He's part man, part cartoon.
Hey, can you hold my hand, Bill?
Hey, we saw your match today. Great stuff.
Yeah, that girl's brains went all over the place.
Glad you like my work. How does Zendaya sound? I don't actually know how her voice sounds.
That's good. She's supposed to be super
Sultry.
horny in this movie,
Okay.
so yeah,
Okay.
I think that's good.
Glad you like my work.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, great. Thanks.
She's also has asthma. That's
Great,
good.
perfect.
This is like borderline Deer Hunter, but it's DEAR.
Yeah.
Hey, so look, we're both super horny for you. Would you like to come back to our room and have a threesome?
Cut 2. Interior, Mike and Nick's room. Empty beer cans litter the floor. Tashi sits on the edge of the bed. She beckons the boys over with a wave of her finger. Mike and Nick take seats on either side of her. Tashi kisses one, then the other, then all three kiss. It's getting hot and heavy. Just as clothes are about to come off, Tashi pops up off the bed and goes to leave. Is everything all right?
I'm no homewrecker.
Hey, but we're so horny!
Tashi pauses on her way out the door.
Tell you what, whoever wins the match tomorrow can have my number.
My number.
Who calls anybody?
That's literally what happmes in Challengers. Just so you
They
know.
almost have a threesome, and then she's willing to give her number out.
100, dude, that dialogue is 100% taken from the movie. She goes out the door and she goes, wait, whoever wins tomorrow can have my number. That's literally what happens.
I love it.
Sorry, spoilers, but go watch Challengers.
Oh, great.
It's great.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Challengers.
YouTube Challenger video, and I'll give you guys a spoiler.
Challengers is full of spoilers.
Spoilers, the teacher doesn't live.
Yeah. All right,
Very
anyway.
horny.
And this morning.
All right. Interior, dingy shack. The next day. Mike and Nick stand across from each other at an old wooden table. Between them, a revolver. Hello, friend.
Nervous?
That's one way to put it.
Don't be. Hey, what could go wrong?
They shake hands and take their seats.
What could go wrong at the Russian roulette match?
They shake hands and take their seats. Mike spins the gun. It lands on Nick.
Oof. Yeah. Sorry, buddy.
Nick brings the revolver to his head and spots Tashi in the crowd. She looks stunning. Tashi smiles and gives Nick a little wave. This fills him with strength. He feels taller, capable of anything. He takes a deep breath and squeezes. Click. Nick slams the gun on the table and pushes it over to Mike. Mike picks up the steel and looks at Tashi for approval. She rolls her eyes. Too cocky. He doesn't care. He yanks the trigger without hesitation. Click. Easy. He tosses the gun to Nick and leans back in his chair. Again, Nick raises the pistol to his head. Outside, we hear the blood-curdling scream of a soldier. Confused? Everyone... Yeah.
Doppler.
Confused, everyone freezes. Mike tries to hold back a smile. Crash! A giant deer with massive, razor-sharp antlers smashes through the wall of the hut. All hell breaks loose. Within seconds, several soldiers have already been impaled. Mike reaches out to Nick for the revolver. The massive buck charges straight for Tashi, who's glued to her seat, frozen in fear. Without thinking, Nick fixes his revolver on the deer and shoots. Bang! Tashi trembles as she uncovers her eyes. The buck lay at her feet.
Shit!
Nick rushes to Tashi's side. Hey, relax! You're okay!
You saved my life.
A referee grabs Nick's wrist and raises it above his head in victory.
Winner! The Deer Hunter!
The room explodes with celebration, except for Mike, who watches the couple with jealous eyes.
Nicky?
Tashi and Nick are too wrapped up in each other's embrace to notice Mike, who gets pushed aside by Nick's new fans. Fade to a montage. Nick and Tashi fall in love, doing all the classic cute POW camp couple stuff. Picking flowers, sharing rations, beheading insubordinates. Nick's fame spreads throughout the camp. He signs autographs and takes photos with guards, with Tashi ever at his side. All the while, Mike looks on, growing more lonely and isolated. Over the years, Nick's star rises as Tashi pushes him harder and harder. No matter how many matches he wins, it's never enough to please her. Mike completely lets himself go. He drinks too much. He feels totally hopeless. Until one day, Mike comes across a massive poster of Mike's face. The World Series of Russian Roulette. Who will defeat the Deer Hunter? In montage. Fade 2. Interior sports arena. Present day. Mike and Nick stare into each other as the gun spins on the table between them. Their rivalry, I'm tired. Their rivalry has come to a head, here and now. But why again? What was this all for? Tashi watches from ringside, almost taunting them to be good enough to claim her. The gun lands on Mike.
Now we got ourselves a real game going. Just you and me, Nicky.
Mike places the revolver to his temple. The hammer falls on an empty chamber with a loud click. He puts the gun back on the table and pushes it over to Nick. Nick is reluctant to participate. They've both been at this for so long. They're tired of competing, tired of the bloodshed, and most of all, tired of not being in each other's lives anymore. A soldier jabs Nick's ribs with a rifle.
Go ahead, Nicky. Just do it, all right? Just do it. It'll be okay. Nicky, do it. It's gonna be okay.
Nick places the gun to his head. Click. Nick slides the gun back to Mike and looks to Tashi. Tashi watches the match with cold, unforgiving eyes. If you're not winning, you're losing. There's no compassion when first place is all that matters. Mike picks up the gun and raises it to his temple. He stares off, missing his old life, missing his best friend. A soldier slaps Mike across the face. Mike sees red and stares the soldier down. The other soldiers laugh. Mike's intensity breaks. He laughs along with them. Has he lost it? Mike's focus drifts over to Tashi. Homewrecker. He looks back to Nick. My sweet Nicky. Nick smirks and gives Mike a knowing nod. Mike's eyes swell as the laughter intensifies. Ha, ha, ha. Mike springs up, takes aim at Tashi. Bang! The bullet hits Tashi right between the eyes. She drops.
I'm dead.
Silence. The referee grabs Mike's wrist and throws it in the air.
Love wins!
The crowd erupts. Mike and Nick embrace. They kiss.
You heard the ref. Love wins. In all my years of announcing, I've never seen a match like that.
The ghost of R. Bud Dwyer cries profusely. Bob hands him a hanky. Mike and Nick do that thing you only see in movies where two people talk while touching their foreheads together.
I missed you.
What do you say we get out of here? Mike scoops up Nick and carries him off the stage. Bystanders cheer and pat them on the back as they make their way out of the venue. The crowd joins hands and sings We Are the World.
That concludes this year's World Series of Russian Roulette, brought to you by Blue Chew.
Blue Chew, a soft pill for a hard cock. The end. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh,
What do we do now?
you're not allowed to ever talk about it again. No, we're going to talk, but real quick, we're going to take a break.
Okay.
And then we'll be right back.
I was so sucked in by my own writing, Kyle. I was really...
And that happened when we had Sorkin on.
Were you just doing laps in here as you were doing
We did a whole walk and talk of his script for Princess Bride.
The tile fell down? He said the tile fell down. Who said the tile fell down? The tile fell down?
Tile Kyle? Kyle Tile? Oh, he's full of bile. I don't know why I think Aaron Sorkin's Dr. Seuss. I think that might be a fun thing to get into is the conceptual never seen it, where I'm like, I pretend I'm joined by Aaron Sorkin, who's never seen something and rewriting it in his voice.
That's fun.
I love that idea.
That's good.
I've always said I need to get into podcasts that are less work, and that feels like less.
Yeah.
For sure it is, yeah.
Writing
layers.
as someone else, writing as something. Okay, we're back. And okay, all right. What did you Nick? You were like, I urgently have feedback.
It's so funny. I just watched this is really great and funny. I would say it especially tickles you if you just watched the deer hunter scene earlier this morning because it's so perfect for that scene. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely. It's wild that a movie is like 3 hours and 10 minutes long, and everyone's like, "Do you remember the scene?"
Yeah.
You're like, hey, maybe we could have cut some.
Yeah.
If what we
maybe a
remember
little
is
bit.
the scene.
Right? Yeah.
Like Goodfellas, 3 hours long. I remember a lot of it.
Yeah, they kill a lot of people.
that's
I
true.
remember a lot of
Yeah.
Goodfellas. Lord of the Rings. I remember a lot of the scenes.
Yeah. Deer Hunter could have used more hobbits.
That Tom Bombadil, impossible to hit with a bullet.
Well, I'll take that as a compliment,
Oh,
Nick.
definitely.
I wanted it to feel intense a little bit.
I think it's very intense.
Okay, so why? Well, I guess only Nick really remembers
can't
the
remember
Deer
anything
Hunter.
about
Do you
it.
remember why
No,
is
no.
he actually called the Deer Hunter?
Does he hunt a deer?
The way I remember it, in the very beginning of the movie, they go, there's like a wedding, and then I think I don't know. They go hunt a deer in Pennsylvania, wherever they are.
Yeah.
Wherever they are, they go out hunting this deer, and they can't find it. And there's some. I feel like it's a metaphor.
Okay.
I don't.
Eventually, I'd start calling him
Probably.
the Russian roulette guy.
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
if you've
yeah,
like
yeah.
hunted a deer in your life
Yeah.
and then done what I mean? It feels like we lightly called OJ the football guy by the end, but he'd done so many other things that his nickname had changed.
Maybe he did Russian roulette with Bambi's mom because we never see how she is shot. It could have been.
Lord,
He's just putting her hoof on it and holding it up.
Yeah, exactly.
what was Bambi's mom into? She had money all over the forest.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've never seen the Deer Hunter, right? But I was like, from that one scene, okay, I see a bunch of soldiers. It takes place in the 70s. I assume they're like in Vietnam and they got like captured. So like a lot of the POW stuff, I mean, that's just me winging it. But I've had to make an educated guess. I think it's guys are in the Vietnam War. They get captured. They're forced to play Russian roulette. And then, I don't know, they live happily ever after, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty much. Yeah, it takes a left-hand turn. They just kind of work at a cookie factory. And
Okay. Yeah.
enjoy their lives. They're
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet
Maybe I-
plays their dad.
It is a rom-com, actually.
I was always young Christopher Walken looks jarring. I don't know why, but this is what I picture him in when I picture him young.
Okay.
And he looks like young Christopher Walken in this movie. For some reason, looks like young Robert De Niro in The Irishman. Like it looks like he has a fake
funny.
face put over his face the entire
He's
time.
got tight skin.
Yeah. Well, because if he's that young, that means he was also a baby. And thinking about that face on a baby is fucked up.
One of the...
Wow.
I laughed so hard at this tweet someone had where they were just like, they were like, it's crazy to think that one day at a hospital, a nurse was like, and what's his name? And a mom was like, Walton Goggins. Like, this is my baby, Walton Goggins. It's just not a child name.
No.
Like, there's not I can't picture Christopher Walken as a kid.
No.
In any capacity.
No, you have to earn Walton Goggins.
Right.
know?
Your name's Eric Schmidt until you start behaving like Walton Goggins.
Yeah, until you grow
like a punch
long,
card.
a long white beard and get a wizard staff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get your second set of veneers put in.
Yeah.
Maybe he was a Topher Walken as a child.
Topher?
He could have been a Topher for a long time.
I like
better.
Topher Goggins. Topher Goggins is like a farm-to-table restaurant in Silver Lake. We do things a little different here. You order off the menu.
Here at Topher Goggins.
Unlike the other.
We're not like the other restaurants here at Topher and Goggins.
The amount of places I've been to lately, like literally the last 4 restaurants I've been to, the waiter has come up and gone, okay, have you guys been here before? And I'm thinking, all right, here comes specials. Or would they do some sort of weird grill of meat at your table situation? And I go, no. And they go, all right, the menu's right there. I'll be back.
That's great.
It's like, what do we-
Yeah.
I've been outside before.
Yeah, I've eaten before.
Greg
Yeah,
Warren,
what?
who's so funny, has this bit about just like a guy being like, all right, let me tell you how the menu works. And he's like, well, I've seen one of these.
Yeah.
He's like, let me guess. Headings, subheadings, items.
Starters. Got it.
I went to a place and they were like, have you been here before? I was like, no. I was like, okay, so here's your battle axe. You will hunt down your meal. You have 72 hours.
It's one of those ampersand
that's-
restaurants, but it's Dungeons and Dragons.
All right, here's a rifle. It's got 5 bullets. There will be a billionaire on your tail in about 15 minutes. You're going to want to start running.
It's free range game here. The free is their tax line. I try not to eat at ampersand restaurants anymore.
Cat
that's
and
fine,
Fiddle.
It's always
Pig
like
and Whistle.
They'll all,
Salt and charcoal. Or
Salt and Straw is the
Yeah,
ice cream
Salt and
place.
Straw, ice cream place.
I'm always just like, you got the ampersand. It's going to be 2 things that have nothing to do with how you are. Pizza and Hut.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I like pizza and
That's
nuts.
funny. What about Taco Bell and KFC? Does that count? All right. That
Oh my
went
God,
over
I
like
have
a
no
lead
idea.
balloon.
No, it made
The
me
silence that
It's a
filled
slash.
the-
It's because it made
not
me
an
think.
ampersand.
I was picturing a slash this way. You were thinking a dash?
Oh, no,
Dash or
slash.
a slash, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No, not a
It's
dash.
ran by
Not a
most of
dash.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, a
Guns
dash.
and Roses
Oh,
has
God,
a
no.
slash
They're
in
not a
it.
divorced child.
That one's going to fall to the sands of
Guns
time.
and
When's
or
it
It's like
Roses.
Guns and Roses has a slash in it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
People are going to find out I add all these horn noises in post. I don't. I'm trying to think. I can't think of any other young Christopher Walken movies. He had to have got famous.
Yeah, well, there is the there's a Stephen King one where
was he Carrie?
he was Carrie. Yeah. He played Cooge. He
Yeah.
played Cujo.
He was
Hey,
Cujo.
he's in the dog suit.
Oh, he was the kid in The Shining, right?
I think he was the carpet in The Shining that showed why we didn't go to the moon. I love The Shining, and I was thinking about how it was just so funny to think the scary, like, the book is so long, and a lot of I don't know if you've seen The Shining, but a lot of like the scary parts are like these reveals in the rooms, and he's like, nothing could be scarier than a woman who's older than she was earlier.
Yeah. Terrifying.
Like this, men will scream at the idea of a woman naturally aging in a hotel.
TikTok. Ugh.
Or like a guy in there's like the guy in the dog costume is one of them.
I was
And I'm
gonna
like,
say,
man, at this point, that's
It's a
like
furry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, now with the advent of the internet, who hasn't seen a guy getting blown by a dog? You know?
yeah. Sometimes it's even a
Whoop-de-doo.
person in a dog suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Other times it's Cujo.
Come on.
You know, it's the same hotel as Dumb and Dumber.
What?
The Shining Hotel. Do you know the bar scene where he's like, "We landed on the moon"?
Yeah.
That's the bar at the Shining Hotel. And
Dude.
Is that all jokes about the moon and Kubrick? I haven't seen Dumb and Dumber.
What?
Yeah, I don't like
serious?
ampersands. I told you guys.
You would love that movie so much.
Yeah.
That's shocking to me.
Humor.
I just
Dumb and Dumber's like the challengers of comedies, dude.
Yeah.
in the fact that I haven't seen it.
It's incredible, and
It's
it
very
stars
horny.
Zendaya.
Yeah.
It's just about two guys really trying to get to a woman, and there's a briefcase, right? In Dumb and
Yeah.
Dumber.
Honestly?
I mean,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
I've written games around Dumb and Dumber, so I've looked up the plot. But I don't.
Shocked you've never seen it.
Last night I saw Furiosa. This barely has anything to do with Dumb and Dumber. I liked Furiosa a lot. Chris Hemsworth was having more fun than anyone's ever had in a movie in their whole life. Okay. I left actually thinking Chris Hemsworth was almost doing like a Jim Carrey performance. That was like the level of commitment to something cartoonish
Well, I'm gonna go see
that
it.
worked. He just did this whole thing, and no one could have told him no at any point. No one said reel it in. It's so because I mean George Miller, he's directed a pig
Yeah.
a couple times. He doesn't care. He never reeled in Babe.
Yeah.
Where he's like,
Yeah.
get the believability back.
Come on,
but
Pig. What movie are you in?
He directed it.
Babe, Pig in the City,
He did?
and Mad Max,
Really?
I
mean,
love that.
What? And what?
and Happy Feet.
Whoa.
He's really like, the real animals, us,
People.
and the real humans, this pig that talks.
Yeah.
And then people are like, well, you had me at the first part, and now the interview's over. But I loved it, but I just was like, I left thinking Hemsworth is almost like a 90s Jim Carrey performance.
Wow.
It's so... That's why I thought the trailer stunk so much. Everyone, it's like bombing, and I think it's because the trailer stunk. And if you take any way he's behaving out of the context of the whole movie, it looks like a bad sketch.
Okay.
But then, that was a pretty good movie. I'm like out here, like, you guys should go see this movie in theaters.
I'm hoping to see it today, actually. It's 90% on Rotten Tomatoes on audiences and critics alike, which is a rare one.
That is
Everyone
awesome.
really likes it, but no one's seeing it. I'll do this thing a lot where I'm like, people should really go to movie theaters, and someone will be like, do you? And I'm like, oh, don't drag me into this.
Other
I'm not here
people.
trying to save any local businesses.
It kills me. Like, I understand everyone's like, hopping on, Jerry Seinfeld said something like movies are dying, and everyone's like, oh, you idiot, what are you? And then like that, the best movie of the year bombs, and it's like, well, maybe there's something to what's
I think this
happening.
was the worst trailer to movie I've ever seen in my life. I don't know if I've ever... Well, it's so rare for me to see a trailer that looks so bad and be like, gotta see it. But it's George Miller, and Fury Road is so incredible.
Right,
That I was like, I'll see it. And I'm like, who cut this? Did AI cut this up with like prettiest slow-mo shots from the movie and then the dialogue that's catchy or something? It stunk.
Also, it had to compete with Unfrosted.
Why would you leave your house? Why would you?
George Miller, who made Happy Feet, is even like a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
Did you see Unfrosted?
I had a bunch of people over to watch it.
Did you really?
You had an unfrosted watch party?
Yeah,
you watch it?
because
Did you watch it?
because I was like, if I'm going to hate it, I need to be able to speak about why I hate it.
Yeah.
And it is it's extremely bad.
Yeah. I watched
He
like
hates people. His hatred of the human race comes through.
It's weird when he had
crazy.
the CEO of Pop-Tarts bomb doing a gig at colleges.
Yeah, exactly. It's too edgy. He really wanted Snap, Crackle, and Pop to say the N-word, and they cut it from the movie. And
Well, I think Crackle has a pass. I heard he gets a pass.
I watched like the first half of it. It is crazy how much it is clearly just people saying yes to a project because it's Seinfeld. You know what I mean? Like the cast is incredible.
Why
It's
would you
everybody.
say no? All of us would have done.
Yeah, why? Of course.
In a heartbeat.
I turned it down.
I have no.
I'm
but
sorry. I didn't know you had
these
such-
spineless
I was supposed to be
social
Father
climbers.
Tart.
Yeah,
Father Tart.
Pop, they called me.
Father Tart is insane.
That's a better joke than the
Father
entire
Tart.
movie. A
No, I
better
mean,
joke
there's
than
a
the
lot
entire
of.
movie.
I mean, we all have a lot of friends who've been in not great things.
Of course.
It's nice
Yeah.
to
Take a
make things
paycheck.
and get paid to make things, and
Yeah.
you hope
Totally.
that you don't know what something is while it's happening any of the time.
You know what's funny though? I somebody, not me, pointed this out, and that is that Seinfeld is this guy who, in the movie Comedian, says never blame the audience, but now notoriously won't do colleges.
Yeah,
It's like-
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, sometimes the audience is either the problem or
Yeah.
maybe they're never the problem, and you should make it work. Or
It's
something.
hard to know if you're the only one who goes up. Because you ever go on a show and you go first and it's not good, and then someone else crushes, and you're like, "Pff, that's my fault. I really wish there weren't other examples of this being my friend. Everyone does well, and you're like, crazy how the crowd stunk until anyone else was up.
I've literally gotten off stage and gone, this crowd sucks, dude. Have fun. And they immediately love them.
You hear the host crushing, going, pay your checks, and everyone's like,
We love to pay.
we love comedy as a concept, and we're open to ideas. I'll always think about what Kindler said about Seinfeld when the year that Seinfeld got mad at colleges, which was my New Faces year, and Just for Laughs, and he's like, Jerry, you said you can't joke about anything anymore because your joke about using your phone makes you look like a gay queen or something, a gay French king.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, Jerry, it's just the joke sucks.
Yeah.
You had one bad joke in the history of your life, and then you were like, audiences stink now. He's like, Jerry, you know what happens to us? That all the time.
Right.
It always goes bad for us.
Yeah.
One time it wasn't the best, and you turned on an age.
It's so weird how one guy, he's self-appointed like the czar of what is and is not comedy because he had an incredibly successful, beloved sitcom, right?
Right.
But as far as stand-ups, like, I don't know, has anybody here ever even seen him do stand-up? Like, right?
I haven't seen Seinfeld. It sounds crazy. I've seen like a couple episodes in sketch classes.
Oh, you haven't
but I
seen the show,
devoted
Seinfeld?
Too much time.
Where were you in the 90s?
Yeah, what?
Why do you hate
at
comedy?
home.
You don't watch Dumb and Dumb?
Dumb
I
and
just
Dumber
don't think
and
I'm. See,
These are big pillars of who I am as a
I just
person.
don't. No one wants to laugh at anything anymore. So I don't want. I'm one of those people, and I don't want to go back and laugh at stuff.
Never hear it from your point of view.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
one
yeah.
knows from my perspective. I don't want to laugh anymore because I'm sleepy. So I don't go back and watch these things.
When you were young, what was like can you just...
The Simpsons.
It doesn't even be
I
like the
watched
number.
The
Okay,
Simpsons.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
that's
What
fair.
are some other pillars? Of
Dinosaurs.
Yeah, great show.
Love
Is that in the
Dinosaurs.
same
Great
as
show.
Seinfeld? He probably would say no.
It's like this. Sure.
It's
But I
more
didn't watch any
poignant.
new television. I mean, I'd watch The Simpsons, but I
Yeah.
wasn't watching any sitcoms in the 90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know the first show I saw that I was like watching as it was coming along. Not really a lot of things.
What's your replacement for Dumb and Dumber? Like, what's like a movie? Maybe when
I
you were
can't
in
really
high
think
school?
of any. High school,
Yeah.
Zoolander.
Great.
Okay, it's a great one.
Okay, so you weren't like
I saw Zoolander in 8th grade or freshman
Yeah.
year of high school, and I really liked that. But I never really went to the movies before that. My parents, we'd never go to the movies, and so we just kind of watch whatever's on. My parents, I think, have now seen like Dumb and Dumber and like it and everything.
and they quote it all the time.
I got in. I liked Adam Sandler's movies.
Yeah,
and
okay,
watch
okay.
shows like The Waterboy and stuff. I loved.
So you weren't like not
I
allowed
don't know
to
how.
watch.
No, nothing
Okay.
like that.
Yeah, I don't know how you were able to not watch Seinfeld because it was on. At one point, it was on like.
It's
2
like,
or
have you
3
seen
different
Bird
channels.
Box? That's like that for me.
That's what-
I had to
that's-
wear a blindfold.
Yeah. Oh, Nick, you've never been to Kansas City. Yeah. It's kind of there's demons everywhere.
Yeah. If I open my eyes while that's on, it kills Sandra Bullock. The Blind Side would have been a good alt title for Bird Box. The Blind Side. All of our movies are just a different The Blind Side and Blind Side.
Another blind side.
Another Blind Side. Lack of peripherals. I don't know how, but then in college in the summers I would go do Second City classes and the sketch classes, and we watched a Chinese restaurant episode in a sketch class, and I was like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But not enough to continue.
Well,
to-
at that point, I wasn't going to buy a bunch of DVDs.
Yeah, box
That's
set.
true.
Yeah.
I remember a friend of mine in college who it was the same thing with music. I missed a lot of the music that would have been formative for me until too late. In college, I had like a radio show at a KCOU in Columbia, and it was basically just my friend playing bands for me and telling me, he's like, do you like them? And I'm like, yeah, do they have more music? And he's like, Radiohead? Yes. Like, it would be like that the whole time. Or he'd be like, yeah, they're called REM. Or something like, I just missed I just listened to my dad's music, and then whatever was on the radio, but never really identified it. Wow. And now I'm getting back to it, but it's hard with TV. Like, it's hard to get into
There's a lot,
Seinfeld now.
too. Yeah.
And they're like, which 100 episodes are your favorite? And you're like, because they used to make more than, now they make 8 episodes, they wait 16 years, they release another season where the kids are all too old, and then the dragons kill everyone.
Yep. Yeah, seasons used to be like 30 episodes.
It used to be 30 episodes. I mean, even like
Easy.
Parks and Rec and those shows. I watched The Office, but I don't think when it was on. Maybe Parks and Rec when it was on, but that's much later than like Seinfeld and stuff.
Do you still watch The Simpsons?
No.
It's hard, right?
I throw
hard.
on some older episodes sometimes,
Yeah.
just as like background thing, and it just feels so funny.
Yeah, what's your drop off?
11.
11?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm later than
Respectable.
I'm staunchly in the when Maude Flanders is killed.
That's it. That's
Is like the
jumping
turning
of the
point
shark.
of the show.
I'm with you.
Because they just straight killed a woman with a t-shirt cannon.
Yeah,
Which is so funny.
Which is so funny, but it doesn't play. I can't explain it, but it doesn't
It's
play.
hard, it's weird to permanently kill a character in a show where everything resets all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, who would ever kill a woman in a script?
This is pretty Maude Flanders coded.
Oh, I should have
If
made
you
it.
just had Robert De Niro lean down for a hot dog.
I wish it was a t-shirt cannon instead. Damn it. Shit.
Again, if you watch the Deer Hunter, I don't know if we've said this or not. Can we spoil it?
You can spoil Deer Hunter.
Spoil Deer Hunter. This is how and I had watched Deer Hunter and I forgot this is what happens.
Right.
I was watching it and they're playing Russian roulette. It's a fantastic scene. I've been kind of like just deep diving about why we laugh, and I feel like it's always like this it's always some version of it's going to be okay. But then I also feel like there's also times when it's not okay. That's why the joke, and that's when it becomes creepy. Like the Joker laughing is so creepy because it's not okay.
Yeah.
I thought this scene, so they're all laughing around the thing. Because I also have a thing of like, whenever there's a person who gets away, he's like, haha, sorry, Indiana Jones, I'm getting away. And then he looks down and he realizes he's sitting on the time bomb. And
Right.
it's 3, 2,
Right.
1. He's like, ha 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 ha. And he laughs because he's like, well, fuck it. Because at one
Yeah.
point, like, it's okay because it's all useless and worthless. But the laughter in this one was fascinating to me because I'm like, which one is this? Is this we're Joker and we're crazy, or is it like we think it's going to be because we think we're going to live? Because because De Niro starts laughing.
Yeah. Well, laughing too. Also, I think it's like the moment that you're actually laughing is you saying that like identifying yourself as like joyful, and you cannot be afraid as you're laughing.
Okay.
So I think that like the act of laughing is trying to banish fear as well.
Yeah.
Just to
Absolutely.
yeah.
So in the movie, like Nick said, there's they're doing the Russian roulette, and they're going back and forth a couple times, and De Niro gets the gun again. Okay, and what the soldiers don't know is I think like he brought like extra bullets or something. I don't know, but they're kind of, I don't remember exactly how it's set up, but because I've only seen this one scene, so I might have missed some preamble. But yeah, they're all kind of like, he slaps De Niro, and then the soldier starts laughing at him. And De Niro starts laughing back at them. I think to lull him into like a false sense of security. And then De Niro pulls a gun on the guard and shoots the guard, and then they like make a break for it, right? Like that's Like I feel
the
like
guard in the middle of the head instead of Zendaya.
yeah.
Got it.
But it is funny because like I was.
She is a
Instead of
guard.
Zendaya. Like this is like, it's important that we differentiate that in Kevin's script he actually put in false information, and that was that one of the people in the show. I don't want any Z-heads turning into this, tuning in and watching. They watched 3 hours expecting her to show up. Like there wasn't even a cell phone in that movie. None of these guys are Spider-Man or a Dune.
It is funny. I've read things where they're like, the Vietnamese never, or wherever they are, I forget. I think it's Vietnam. They never played this game or so. It's like,
Well, they called it Soviet roulette back then. Is probably why it's hard to Google.
USSR roulette.
USSR fucked. I am rewatching Chernobyl, so I'm like, I never watched Seinfeld. I don't like to laugh. I watched Chernobyl again.
Again,
My favorite comedy.
Again, some Easter eggs you missed the first time.
God, these guys love secrets. You guys got to see this.
Yeah, the guy's pile of skin at a real Jim Carrey type.
Yeah,
It kind of did a real rubber face.
You know, Rubberface was a reference, but you have not watched.
What's
Dumb and
Rubber
Dumber.
Face from? Is that from Dumb and Dumber?
It's one of his-
I just know Jim Carrey calls
That's like
himself
his
that.
earliest.
his first movie.
It's his first movie.
He has a movie called Rubber
Yes,
Face.
yes.
I was like, oh, she's a real rubber face. You know, she's good except for how she rubs my face.
Yeah.
There it is.
The horn back. There's one bullet in one of the chambers of the horn. Then Kyle just sort of laughed. I guess he accepted that was the end. No, I have never heard of Rubberface in my life.
You're not missing much.
No,
I've seen The Mask.
great.
I guess for Jim Carrey, I've seen Me, Myself, and Irene.
That's all you got. Yeah, you're good.
Did you ever see High Strung?
I've never heard of that.
So when we were kids, and I think Ace Ventura was out. We go to the VCR store,
Blockbuster?
Yeah, but it was like Deerberg's. Remember when grocery stores had their own like little.
Oh, sure, dropping Deerbergs, dude. That is so great. That is so great that you said Deerbergs. I know. I picture it, the gray
You know
walls.
exactly what it is.
I know.
Yeah.
Deerbergs is a
Suburb of this movie.
It's a grocery store chain in our hometown.
Okay.
Life is like a hurricane.
Deerbergs. Deerbergs.
Woo! Launchpad shoots himself in the head. What war did he fight in?
We never really got to
about
the
it.
bottom of if you could jump into a pool of coins. It feels like he would have landed on the top of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, so you went to get the movie at the Deerbergs.
And we see there is this prominent display of this movie, the new Jim Carrey movie. We're like, well, I never heard it. It's Jim Carrey, and it's like starring Jim Carrey. And so we rent it. We go home, and back then, that's a big. You're all in on that movie. You can't watch 5 minutes and turn it off.
Nice.
Because then you still have it at your
night.
house.
Yes, yeah, they come and find you.
It's not it's the Ring. We've seen the Ring. What happens if you stop watching it?
So we watch it. Jim Carrey's in it for maybe a total of 3 minutes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's and years later I was like, I tried to figure out when the internet was available and I could kind of see what the deal with that was. He had some writing partner, I guess, and I forget who this gentleman's name was. He might have helped write the Pet Detective movie, but he wanted to do. It was basically a guy doing like kind of a Larry David, Loudermilk, if you watch that type of complainer guy, in his apartment is complaining about stuff. And every once in a while, this little Jim Carrey guy would pop up and be like, hey.
He was like tiny?
Yeah, or like he was his thoughts or something like
Okay.
that. And it was, but we were like, I remember, that's like one of those moments as a kid, you're like, you can do that? You can just say a movie stars Jim Carrey, and it's not even in
I
the
wonder
movie.
if between making it and it coming out, something blew
Something got
up, like
famous.
Ace Ventura or something.
Yeah, 100%,
Yeah.
And they were like,
yeah.
well, we really got to play up how this... for some reason, I think Nolan would know the answer to this. I don't know why I'm putting this on him. I don't even remember the name. Was it
Ace Ventura-
Rubberface
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
that he was in? But this comes up...
one.
This is how I felt watching Dune with Zendaya. Where they were like, she's the star of this movie, and then like 98% of the way into
Yeah.
a 3-hour movie, she's like, hello. And then the movie ends, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
with the second
really?
Dune was Anya Taylor-Joy, was in all of the press I saw for it, and she's on all the red carpets, and good for her.
Yeah.
And she's everywhere, and then she's in the movie for like 3 lines, and I'm like, that's so tight
Yeah.
to be in the movie that much, and just like she's like at the red carpet first. And just like, I mean, because who fucking cares? It's a fucking giant movie. She's barely in the movie at all. No one was really in the movie of all the people they promoted because they have such huge names in this thing. They're just all barely in it. And, maybe they just know how to get you.
But that used to be like a very real thing where it's like you do like the $5 bin at Walmart or a gas station would always I think you still see sometimes a bin of DVDs at a gas station.
Yeah.
Where it's like 4 movies on one DVD.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like the Mel Gibson collection.
Yeah.
And it's one movie you kind of want to see.
Like, is that called A Patriot?
And then it'd be like Patriot.
It's just a YouTube video of his.
Yeah. And then
Another
3
Patriot.
movies that he was in for 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was that whole plot point in one of the last Community seasons was Ken Jeong's character.
I was thinking of, and I didn't have a microphone.
Yeah.
Wait, what
Like
is
Ken
this?
Jeong's character, they shoot a little bit of a movie and it never gets made. And then in between that, Ken Jeong's character just goes viral online. And so then they're like, someone gives them a bunch of money to make the movie starring Chang. And they just, even though he's not around, post-production make a movie starring him using footage
wow.
from
That's
something
funny.
else they had sitting on a hard drive somewhere.
Gotcha.
And like, you got to get the people out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, what other Jim Carrey things?
Simon Birch is a Jim Carrey movie. Remember Simon Birch?
No, what's Simon Birch?
It's about two friends. One's a little guy. He's like
What do you mean by little guy?
I don't know what we say. He's a little person.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
I thought it was a kid.
Yeah, but he's a kid.
Oh, yeah, we use the
He's
word
a
kid
little
for
person.
those.
No, but they're 2 kids.
We call those people
Cut
kids
that.
when they're young. We just call them children. Right? They're called children.
But a child little person.
A little
okay.
person, little guy.
Oh,
little guy.
a CLP. We call them CLPs.
Little guy sounds like a scamp. You know what I mean?
It's a little
He's
guy.
also a scam.
It just sounds like the guy who's
gotta
pretty
have-
good at baseball but hits ninth.
Simon Birch is too much conceptually to explain concisely.
Okay.
Yes, I don't.
Goes out to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know how to even get there. But Jim Carrey plays the other friend as an adult.
Okay.
And he has like a
guy.
monologue at a gravestone.
Big guy. He's
Big
a
guy.
big guy.
Old guys.
He plays a big guy.
Adults.
But he's in it. He's like literally in the very last scene or whatever, and you're like, but Jim Carrey was like,
Right.
big.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
big
wonder if
bill.
he had made a bunch of stuff and Ace Ventura was a bigger hit than anyone thought it was going to be.
Do you know who Ace Ventura was written for originally?
Who? Alan Cummings?
Robert De Niro.
Brian Regan.
Wow.
I could see that.
Yeah. But then he passed on it, and Jim Carrey completely rewrote the movie for himself. But it was supposed to be a Brian Regan movie.
That's amazing because there's some early Brian Regan.
He's got physicality.
Totally.
He's
Yeah,
very,
exactly.
he's very Jim Carrey. He's even his
A lot of
wearing
like
that-
this sort of like moving his head
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
bobbing around and he's very
Yeah, yeah.
physical and very overly sarcastic with his arms and his face. Mm-hmm. I could see that. Well, I wonder if he ever thinks about that.
It's so weird. I've never heard him talk. I would love to hear.
I know, it'd be interesting.
Because I've heard him say stuff like, I never had any interest in acting or something
Yeah.
like that. But then it was all,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I also made a joke. He's like, of course, if I would have maybe sold something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
God had been the star.
That's a good fucking Regan.
Great Regan.
Yeah.
Can I tell you this thing happened last week, and it was a premise in the news, and my brain went total Brian Regan for the premise. I was like, and it was they want to do Moon Time.
Moon time?
Get its own time zone?
time zone. And
Do we have extras?
Yeah, what?
I guess they were like predicting in the future we have to, as a world, decide what time it is on the moon, so there's not
Okay.
confusion when Russia's coming from one time zone and we're gonna meet, America.
That's crazy because like my phone changes that automatically, so maybe we're just cool with
when
that
you
now.
go to the
Yeah,
moon,
yeah,
it
yeah.
automatically.
Yeah.
It doesn't not.
What time is it on the moon right now?
Time to party?
Time passes at a different rate on the moon as well.
Ah.
Einstein.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't rotate either, so it's like technically what is a day? Right?
Okay, so what's the Regan premise behind this?
So I was reading
Get
in the
crazy.
news that they want to do Moon Time, and I thought that like people need one more excuse for being late. You show up like, all right, you guys are here. You've been waiting an hour. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant 5 o'clock. Moon Time.
That is fantastic.
I need if you're ever wanting something, please
great.
make a character called Joe Regan, who is Brian Regan doing Joe Rogan clips.
So I was reading about these chemicals in the sky.
You guys see these? That's almost like
I gotta get underground.
I think he has some of the funniest things I've ever heard. If you guys like golf at all, he has the funniest bit about golf, about them implanting bird noises to make it seem like there were more animals around. And he's like, I just want to talk to the guy he's like, someone called in and they were like, they knew that those birds weren't indigenous to the sound of the golf course. And he's like, I just want to field that customer service call. He's like, hey, what's up? Oh, yeah, hi. So you thought you're going to get away with it, huh? I love him so much.
I always,
So funny.
to this day, I always think about Take Luck.
It's
It's one of the greatest bits
Yeah.
of all time.
It
Which-
happens once a month.
Dude. Like every 6 months, I take luck myself. I take luck myself. Yeah.
I like that. He's so
good.
underrated.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know though. I mean, every time he does like a big theater, they always add second shows, third shows.
Yeah,
you
it does.
know.
He does have a ton.
He didn't need the crutch of Ace Ventura.
The crutch.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey's been held up by this crutch of making everyone in the world happy for too long.
Brian Regan's just been out here in the trenches, serving it up by the spoonful.
Making your parents ask you why you're not like him. Why your jokes aren't like his.
Are your parents okay?
No, they like comedy. He's one of the few that I think they really know, and they like him.
Yeah. My mom, she hasn't done this in a while, but I think within the last 5 years, she's a handful of times thrown the, you should do that Fallon show. That Jimmy Fallon seems like a nice boy.
You know this is the same show as Johnny Carson, right, Mom?
I know. It's like, she'll be, I know.
The Fallon show. There's been a name for it.
He seems like a nice boy.
Oh, man. All right, we got to get out of here.
All right.
Thank you so much,
I'm gonna hang
Kevin,
out a
for
while.
being here and having not seen The Deer Hunter.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This ruled. And thanks, gang, for helping out with the
thanks
voices.
for the invite.
Yeah.
Let everyone know where to find you. Anything you got going on, where to check all the outs.
Yeah, Kevin Casey White on all socials, and watch my special Harangue on YouTube. It's free.
It's very, very good.
It's a great special.
Yeah,
Thanks.
great special.
Thanks, gang.
Thank you so much, Nick, Brandie. Thank you for both for being here as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for both. Nick, you've seen it. Brandie, thanks for not seeing it. Yeah. Let everyone know where to find you. Anything you got going on? You want to tell them about? That show that just happened the other day that I just saw about this morning.
No more Mr.
Yeah.
The show's called No More Mr. Mean Guy, and now there's no more Mr. Mean Guy.
This is my podcast, Talking No More, Mr. Mean Guy, where I sit down and we talk about No More Mr. Mean Guy.
I will say, for the poster for No More Mr. Mean Guy, I didn't have to. I got a QR code.
Wow.
My own very own QR. I didn't know you could just get one. It's very exciting, and I just so I guess. Go find my posters that I still have up for No More Mr. Mean Guy. You can go to my. I'm trying to hit 1,000 on my YouTube. Because doesn't something happen?
I think you start to make money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need 300 people to sign up for my YouTube, so I can
over
start
there.
making money.
Great.
And then one day I'll buy a hat.
I always like
I'd
billboards
like that
with
for you.
QR codes.
Yeah.
When you're just like driving and you're like, just whip the phone out to find what time Denny's closes.
Right. Information they could have put in the QR code.
Yeah. It's just our hours here. And you're like, you put the words our hours here. Put 929.
Yeah, just write it in there. That's fine.
Brandie, anything
I'm
you wanna
already
tell people
texting.
about here?
Yeah. Lady to Lady is my podcast. Comes out every Wednesday for the last 12 years, for literally ever. I run a comedy record label called Burn This Records that puts out a lot of indie awesome artists. So follow us on Instagram to see all the people we have coming out there. Brand Dazzle on all of the shit.
Thank you.
So find me.
Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
I've never seen it.